When we came to power, my first priority was that Pakistan would be a country which will try its best to bring peace. India keeps accusing us that there are these groups there. I would like the United Nations to send observers. No Pakistani government would have dared to do this because it would have created strife. Prime Minister Modi told me that, there were terrorist attacks from Pakistan. I said, we have problems with you. There are terrorist attacks which we know are instigated by India in Balochistan. We caught a spy, Kulbhushan Yadav, who admitted what the sabotage going on in Karachi and Balochistan. So we said, look, let's leave that behind. Let's move forward. Our main priority should be our people. Rather than sending us any proofs, they sent their jets in, they bombed us. We retaliated. A jet, 2 of their planes were shot down, 1 pilot bailed out in Pakistan. We immediately returned the pilot, saying that, look, we do not want any escalation. Rather than taking that as a peace gesture, the entire campaign, almost the entire campaign of Mr. Modi in the election was how he had taught Pakistan a lesson that jets had killed 350 terrorists. Complete lie, they had just killed about 10 trees of ours. Mr. Modi used words like, this is just a trailer, the movie is about to start. I went into Pakistan and taught them a lesson. Then we discovered they were trying to push us in the FATF blacklist. That's when we realized there was an agenda. And that agenda became obvious on the 5th August. Narendra Modi is a life member of RSS. RSS was an organization that was inspired by Adolf Hitler and Mussolini. It was hatred for the Muslims and for the Christians. It was this ideology of hate that made Narendra Modi in 2002 do a pogrom against Muslims in Gujarat when he was the chief minister. Congress Home Minister gave a statement that in RSS camps, terrorists are being trained. And these terrorists butchered 2,000 Muslims and 150,000 Muslims were made homeless. Narendra Modi could not travel to the US because of that. India went against 11 United Nations Security Council resolutions. They went against Simla Accord, actually went against the Indian Constitution. Illegally, they revoked Article 370, which gave Kashmir the special status. What sort of a mindset would lay siege to 8 million people with 900,000 troops? Women, children, sick people, locked in as animals. Cruel things like what Narendra Modi has done. Does he think that people of Kashmir will quietly accept the status quo? Mr. President, 100,000 Kashmiris have died in the past 30 years because they were denied the right given by the United Nations, the right for self-determination. What is going to happen when the curfew is lifted will be a bloodbath. The people will come out. There are 900,000 troops there. They haven't come to, as Narendra Modi says, he's done this for prosperity of Kashmir. This is supposed to be for the development. These 900,000 troops, what are they going to do? They will be out in the streets. And what will the soldiers do? They will shoot them. They've already used pellet guns, blinded young boys. So Kashmiris will be further radicalized. Mr. President, there will be another Pulwama. And guess what? India will blame us. One of their defense ministers said, there are 500 terrorists lined up on the border to go in. Why would Pakistan send 500 terrorists when there are 900,000 troops? What impact are they going to make? What will they do? And why would? Don't we know that the moment there is some terrorist attack, all that will happen is there will be further cruelty and oppression of the people of Kashmir. This is one of the most critical times. There will be a reaction to this. Pakistan will be blamed. 2 nuclear-armed countries will come face to face like we came in February. before we head in that direction, the United Nations has a responsibility. This is why the United Nations came into being in 1945. You were supposed to stop this happening. What is the world community going to do? Is it going to appease a market of 1.2 billion, or is it going to stand up for justice and humanity? If a convention war starts and anything could happen. And my belief is, La ilaha illallah, there is no God but one. And we will fight. And when a nuclear armed country fights to the end, it will have consequences far beyond the borders. It's not a threat. It's a fair worry that where are we headed? And I've come here to tell the UN, you've got to, this is a test for the United Nations. You are the one who guaranteed the people of Kashmir the right of self-determination. They are suffering because of that. And this is the time to take action. And number one action must be that India must lift this inhuman curfew, which has lasted for 55 days. It must free all political prisoners, and especially those 13,000 boys that have been picked up. Parents don't know where they've disappeared. And then the world community must give the people of Kashmir the right of self-determination. Islamophobia since 9/11 has grown at a pace where it is alarming. Human communities live together. There should be understanding amongst them. But Islamophobia is creating a division. Muslim women wearing hijab, it's become an issue. Hijab is some sort of a weapon. A woman can take off her clothes in countries, but she can't put on more clothes. How is this happening? Because of Islamophobia. And how did this Islamophobia start? After 9/11. And why did it start? Because certain Western leaders equated terrorism with Islam. There is only one Islam, and that is the Islam we follow of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Radical Islam, Islamic terrorism, what message did they send to people in the West, and why is there Islamophobia? Terrorism has nothing to do with any religion. This Islamic terrorism, Islamic radicalism, and sadly used by leaders, this has been the main reason for this Islamophobia. And it has caused pain amongst Muslims. European countries, it is marginalizing Muslim communities. And we all know that marginalization leads to radicalization. We must address this issue. I'm sad to say that we Muslim leaders have not addressed this issue either. But unfortunately, the Muslim leadership was so scared of being called radical Islam that all of them became moderate. We in the Muslim world did not explain to the West that there is no such thing as radical Islam. After 9/11, Islam was supposed to be equated with terrorism, with suicide attacks. So this bizarre thing happened. No one explained. Suicide attacks and Islam were equated. No one did research that before 9/11, the majority of suicide attacks in the world were by Tamil Tigers, who were Hindus. No one blamed Hinduism, and quite rightly. Muslim leadership let the Muslims down. We should have explained to them what a prophet, peace be upon him, means to us. Prophet's life was living the Quran. He was an example of what the Quran guided us to be. So he is the ideal we all try to get to. The Prophet created the state of Medina. First time a welfare state was set up. The state took responsibility of the weak, widows, orphans, poor people, handicapped. It taxed the rich, spent the money on the poor. The state announced that all human beings are children of Adam, hence equal.